Hello, everyone. Are you ready to have a Merry Christmas? We're going to go through some tips and some tricks on how to get through the holidays. Okay, so stay tuned. We've got some things that we're going to do. And if you guys still need to book those calls from the Holiday Happiness Challenge from last week, put hashtag call in the comments and I can get that to you too, because today is the last day of the 2 for 1. So bonus. So yeah, so if you're just going to book the call for today. Okay. And that's it. So, but maybe, maybe I'll extend it to Friday. Okay. Okay. So book those calls. You have until Friday just to book it. You don't even have to have the call until after the New Year's. Okay. So, but yeah. So to get that bonus, so that is 2 years with me. That's weekly access to the program with me. And it is 8 VIP sessions, which are very private sessions, just me and you. And we go over some things that you may need help with. We guide you and get you in the right direction. And you also get 8 lift methods, which is my light infused freedom technique, where I help you release those embedded emotions, where I help you find out exactly where are these fears coming from, right? Why are you having anxiety? Why are you having, this pain? Why can't you get pregnant, right? Yeah. Even some men have problems down there too, right? So, and I've even helped a fella do that one time. so, um, so book a call. It's so we'll extend it until Friday. All I have to do is book it. Just it's 10 minutes, and we'll see what it's all about. Okay, and see if I can help you or not. Okay. So today we are going to have a way of going through some things to have a Merry Christmas. Now, if you guys don't celebrate Christmas, write in the comments. What do you celebrate? Do you celebrate Hanukkah? Do you not even celebrate Christmas at all? What do you celebrate? Okay, it'd be interesting to know. I know I have a wide diversity of people in this group, so it's kind of cool to know different cultures and things like that. So, yeah. So, are you guys getting anxious? Like, the countdown is on. Things are piling up. We're getting things done. The hustle and the bustle is going on. And, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more sleeps. Right? Right? And there's lots to do, and there's always things to do. And today, I was in town and, I was just smiling and singing and humming away, and people were looking at me. And, when they seen my smile, they would smile too. And they would chat and talk. And yeah, it felt good to watch them smile, because some of them would kind of, they come out of the store, I'd come up to them and they'd be like, right? And they'd be very stressed out, trying to figure out what in the world they're going to do. And then, they look up at me and I'm just smiling away because, I don't get too anxious about these holidays anymore. I mean, what gets done gets done. And if it doesn't get done, then, it's okay too, right? So I used to be very anxious about Christmas. I would get very depressed because it's a financial burden. Like a lot of people go way out of the norm at Christmas time, right? And it has a lot of financial stress. So People are buying decorations. There's the new decorations that are coming out right now. Um, you have to have that perfect tree, and it's kind of like Christmas with the Cranks. Have you guys watched that movie? And they're all competing against who has the most lights in their house. Yeah, right. Um, so this is what people are doing, and they're trying to buy people gifts, expensive gifts, and it's really unnecessary. All right. So I mean, I've never asked for anything expensive, or I'm just grateful for getting what I have, right? Um, and just being with my kids, right? It's the most important thing, right? Yeah. So, what are you stressing out over for the holidays? Are you those ones that have to go all out and make sure everything is all done and perfect? Yeah. That brings a lot of stress too, having that perfect tree, having, everything, the meal just perfect, having, the gifts just wrapped just so, making sure you have everybody checked off your list and made sure they're perfect gift, right? Yeah. It's a lot of stress, and it causes a lot of anxiety, right? Yeah. Do you guys get anxious over the holidays or leading up to the holidays? Yeah. There's a lot of Christmas parties going on, like people have office parties, company parties, even just going out with friends, you know, and it's a lot, especially when you don't really like crowds. I never used to like crowds. Um, they kind of drained me, and I would get really anxious. And when I was pregnant with my kids, whenever I had to go shopping or whatever, and it was a large crowd, I would start breathing heavy. I'd be like short of breath, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, but yeah, but my kids don't have that though, right? My kids love to go shopping, and they don't mind crowds. So maybe it was just something that I had to deal with, right? So, but yeah. So, are you guys like that too? Yeah. I take on a lot of people's energies, so I can feel people's energies, and I get really drained and tired if I don't protect myself, right? So that has a lot to do with it too. Um, going to family members for Christmas. Um, some people have people in their family that they don't get along with. They're just toxic. Some people that are, blowhards, right? We all have those. um, Even just being around people that just trigger you, right? They might say something that they didn't mean, or, it's like that, right? I don't put up a tree. I just try to see whoever can visit. Well, exactly. You don't need a big whole thing. My kids are all grown up, and I do a lot of cooking for them, right? So a lot of things that I give them is just entrees that they can use through the year, because they're busy. They're all working, and so that they get some of Mama's home cooking, right? So yeah, so it's fun and it's easy, and I love doing it. And so and a lot of people are lonely, right? They don't have anybody. There's a lot of seniors out there that, they don't have anyone near them. I have a lot of people that are in their 90s. Some of them are 100. And, a lot of their children have passed on, right? So they don't have anyone. And yeah, so it's pretty sad when you see these people. Food is a great gift. Oh, I know, right? Yeah. So, and it's lonely. So, reach out to a neighbor, reach out to a loved one. I'm always dragging people around. Lynn, she stayed with me one Christmas, and we drug her everywhere. Included her in our family. So, and I have people here that I always cook a big meal for Christmas, and I just give up plates and take them their dinner, right? Yeah, yes, I did. Yeah. So now Lynn knows about my crazy family. So yeah. So do you guys do that too? Is there things that you guys do over the holidays to help people get through their anxiety? You know, um, do you overcommit? Do you take time to yourself? You have to go and my kids, they have their spouses and they're going to their in-laws, right? So, and I just say, go deal with them and then come and see me, right? As long as I'm one day with them, we have a big meal, and and that's all that matters, right? Next year will be a little more fun. I'll have a grandbaby, so of course I'll be there on Christmas morning, right? So, but I mean, I'm not going to say, you need to come here, because they have their own lives to do, right? They have their own lives and they have other places that they have to go to, right? So we usually just pick one day and they all come here, and that's all that matters, right? So but people get overcommitted with things, you have to go here, you have to go there. I mean, I remember when a kid, we were all stuck in the car, and we would drive from every uncle and every aunt, watching all their gifts, and we'd be exhausted. Like, we didn't care what people bought. We just wanted to go home and play with our own toys, right? But back then we had to visit everybody over Christmas, right? Yeah. Did you guys do that too? Yeah. There's a lot of grief and loss around Christmas. This is when we think of our passed on loved ones, and it's hard, especially when we think of them during the holidays, right? And what they're missing out on. And but around the holidays, this is when you feel them the most. And I know I have a lot of people say, this person had passed away, and I'm so sad, and I said, they're not far away, they're always close by, right? They and if you're looking out, if you're aware, you can feel them around you, right? So they're always nearby, right? So so that grief and that loss, it's hard on people too over the holidays. So and then some people have the seasonal affective disorder, right? Do you guys get depressed over the holidays or even the winter? Winter depression, because we don't get enough vitamin D, enough sunshine. Yeah, some people have to use that special light, UVD, whatever it's called, light. I can't even say it. Just to kind of help with their anxiety and their depression, right? So over the winter, because if it was up to me, I'd hibernate. I'd be in the house, and I'd be either reading or cooking or doing something to the house or online here working with you guys, and so that's what I'd be doing in the wintertime. But unfortunately, I can't. So there's also pressure to meet everyone's expectations. Have you ever gotten someone's gift? Oh, good, you started taking vitamin D. Awesome. Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't really want that, or that's not a very good gift, right? It's just mean to be able to say that. People just aren't grateful for what they have and what they're given, right? So if you're, people think that their gift giving isn't good enough, right? So, I love homemade gifts. And I had a woman today give me a little blue mittens that she knitted for my grandson. So Yeah, so he'll be able to wear those next year. So that's kind of cool. Um, we have added responsibilities over the holidays, right? Like we have to do all the cooking, all the baking. We have to make sure everything is just done. So, right? We have to make sure the house is clean. We have to make sure the gifts are wrapped. We have to make sure this is done and that's done, right? And it gets overwhelming, you know, and it really does. And then we have people that kind of, they go back over the year. It's like, oh, I didn't get that goal done. I didn't do that. I had lots of things I wanted to do this year. And some I did, some I didn't. And that's okay. I'm just grateful and happy that I did get done what I got done. And of course, next year it's going to be a lot more happier, right? Right? So who wants 2024 to be the happiest year they've ever had? Right? I have a client, she messaged me and she goes, she went to a birthday party, a child's birthday party, one of her friends' grandson's birthday party. And she said, I had so much fun. She said, I just had so much joy watching them play. She goes, I was playing with the kids and she goes, I was so happy. She goes, who would have thought I could be so happy? And I was like, isn't it an amazing feeling? She goes, yeah. Right? Yeah, because she's never felt that before, right? So her year next year is going to be absolutely amazing. Right? So yeah, but so it'll be kind of cool, right? To be happy all the time, right? That's going to be my new motto: happy, happy, happy all the time. It will be better. It is better. Yeah. So there are some things that we use to kind of help relieve that anxiety. So I know you guys heard of the thymic thump or the thymus tap, right? Have you guys done that with me before? And it's a reason why it is so important for your health and your anxiety. The thymus gland, it shrinks with age, right? When we were kids, nothing bothered us when we were kids. We were fearless. We just went and did whatever we wanted to do, right? And we were never sick. We never had anxiety. We weren't depressed when we were younger, right? When we were toddlers. Yeah, and that's because our thymus gland is in full motion here, right? But as we age, it shrinks. Okay, and the activity decreases. And what it does is it changes to fat. Yeah, but to keep that going, to keep it working, there are some things that you need to do. Okay, and so why is that so important? Well, it supports your immune system, right? So when you're sick, when we're older, we get sicker a lot, right? Because of the stress and the overwhelm and everything that's going on in our lives. So this thymus gland helps boost our immune system. So if you are sick or if you have an immune disease like Crohn's, irritable bowel, you have depression or anxiety, you even have cancer, right? The thymus tap will help to boost those, boost your immune system. And why it does that, I'll read it to you. Hold on. The gland is located behind the sternum. Okay, that's your breastbone. Can you guys feel that? Feel that right behind your breastbone there? Right, that little lump there. Yeah. So that is your thymus gland and behind that. Okay, and the thymus is a small organ that is part of the lymphatic system, right? So that helps drain all of that fluid, all of our toxic stuff that we breathe in and we soak in through our skin and we eat, right? Yeah. and it plays a key role in the development of our immune system. So it's mostly active when we're in childhood and adolescence because we were always very active back then, right? The thymus is included in the maturation of the T lymphocytes, which is the T cells, right? Have you guys ever heard of those T cells? Yeah. And that is a crucial component of the immune system. So the T cells play a role in recognizing and attacking those foreign invaders, such as viruses and bacteria. The thymus is important for immune system development. Its function decreases with age and is often replaced by fatty tissue as an adult. Okay? So it's so important to keep that thing going, right? So I'm going to show you guys a way to do that. All right. So I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see. Okay. So now find your sternum, find your breastbone right here. Okay. And let's do the thump, right? So you can use your fist, right? And can you see that? Yeah, use your fist and just tap it. Right? And you don't have to go hard. You don't have to pretend you're Tarzan, but just tap it. Okay. And then it takes, 15 seconds. And, right now I feel a tingling sensation, and I'm feeling a little, I just want to relax and go, sigh. Now, are you guys feeling that too? Are you guys doing that? Tell me what you're feeling right now when you're thumping on your thymus. Now, if you're in the middle of, shopping and there's a big crowd, or you're in a party or anything like that, and you're kind of feeling a little bit anxious, right? You can just use your fingers, and just tap it. You don't have to beat on it like that because people be like, oh, what's she doing? But if you're just sitting there and just tapping, no one's even going to pay any attention, right? Can you see that? Yeah, just tap it with your fingers. That's all you need to do. And that will boost, and then take a couple of deep breaths, and that will calm down your anxiety. I had a woman, she is an amazing friend of mine. She was my kid's babysitter, and they love her to pieces. And she said she was driving down the highway and she has panic attacks. And she was driving down to an appointment, and she was starting to get anxious driving on the highway. And she was like, oh, I got to pull over, I got to pull over. So then she pulls over and she's thinking, okay, what did Angie tell me to do? What did Angie say? And here she is on the side of the highway, sitting in her car, beating on her chest like this, right? And breathing. And do you know what happened? Her panic attack went away. So Lulu, if you're on here, yeah, that's an amazing story, right? So it does work, right? The deep breathing and the meditation, right? That helps too. And meditating doesn't necessarily mean, sitting cross-legged with your hands up like this going, you can if you want to, but just going for a walk in nature, just to kind of calm your, just being aware of the trees and stuff and being aware. Yeah. And even just, every night I put a meditation on my phone in YouTube, and I put one on and I just use my earphones and I fall asleep with one on. So, yeah, so that helps me out too. Okay. I laugh, and, I do home care. I have home care clients, and, some of them are so funny, they have these little old ladies that tell dirty jokes, and it's so much fun to watch them, and of course I'm pretending like I'm shocked, right? or I just burst out laughing, so even watching a movie, right? Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I have to wear a mask all day, and it dries my throat out. So, yeah, so even watching a funny movie and laughing at that, some of the reels that are on here on Facebook, are hilarious. They really are hilarious, and they just crack me right up, right? So yeah, so that helps with your anxiety too. Regular exercise, just going for that walk after dinner. Somebody's annoying you, say, oh, I'm just going to go for a quick walk, right? um, you know Eating healthy. There's lots of food going on over the holidays. So there's lots of things that we try. And I know we eat a lot. We eat way too much over the holidays. And I'm one of those people. I like to try everything, right? And but we have a new year to get back to normal, right? To get our health back. So, but yeah, just eat as healthy as you can, because too many sweet stuff, kind of makes you sick. Sugar is terrible for cancer and stress and even your diabetes and stuff like that, right? So, um, cold. Do you guys do that polar dip or the ice bath? Some people even just like going out for a walk in the winter time, right? Or even have a cold shower. That direct impact on the thalamus, right? So that just stimulates your immune system even more, right? So if you're prone to having colds and flus and stuff like that, I have a shower and I have it as hot as I can possibly stand it. And then once I'm all done, just before I get out, I turn it down to cold. And then I just put cold water through me until I I can't stand it anymore. And then I turn it off and I get out. So yeah, and I never get sick, guys. Never get sick. Um, I haven't been sick in a very long time. And I used to be sick all the time. I used to be so burned out and so worn out that when I had, just the sniffles or, I catch a cold, I'd be in bed for a week. And then I'd have to drag my ass into bed just to go back to work because, I was only allowed to have so many days off. And yeah, it was terrible, right? My immune system, I was had so much trauma and so much depression, and that, I just wasn't feeling good, right? So yeah, a lot of people use aromatherapy. I do use some of that. A lot of things I'm sensitive to. I'm sensitive to a lot of scents. When I'm walking down the aisle at the grocery store where all the laundry soaps and stuff are, yeah, I usually have a headache by the time I get out of that aisle, right? Just from the smells. So is that you guys too? Do you guys do that? Yeah. Yeah. And just be positive, right? So if somebody, is bothering you or triggering you, or you have to go somewhere and, someone's being an ass, just kind of say positive affirmations in your head, or say, like, you don't bother me. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm prettier than you. Just say things like that to kind of, yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of people are sensitive. I mean, my son is totally sensitive to scents, and a lot of cleaners he can't handle, and so I have to watch what we have here, what I use. So, and I don't use a whole lot of harsh things. I use mostly natural products. So, lots of vinegar. Um, that's good for a lot of cleaning, and lemons and things like that. Yeah. So yeah. So if you guys need any help, if you guys want the replay for this, so that when you do get anxiety over the holidays, you can grab this and fall back on. Again, put #call in the comments. I will post. We will extend the bonus from the Holiday Happiness Challenge until Fridays. And all you have to do is book the call. Okay. And, you can book it for next year. Okay. So just book the call. We'll put you in the list for the people who want to join or have a calls. And then we'll do our calls next year. Okay. And we're going to make next year the happiest year we've ever had. It's going to be an amazing year. We're not going to be bothered with people. We're not going to be triggered. We're going to get release all of these emotions that are stuck inside of us. We're going to feel amazing, right? Um, we're going to get rid of those fears that you don't even know it's coming from, right? And we're going to release this anxiety that you don't know where it's coming from. I was talking to a young girl and she has anxiety and she thrives on it. She's like, oh, I can't do that. I have anxiety. And I said, well, that anxiety is not even yours. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, that anxiety is coming from your grandmother. And because her grandmother had anxiety, right? Has anxiety from a traumatic event that she had, right? So that anxiety just went passed on, right? And it's not just, a lot of people go to a psychiatrist or a hypnotist, and it's great. I'm not bashing them, but they work on your mind, right? And it's like, oh, be positive and change your mindset. Well, that's great. You can do that. But sometimes this trauma and these diseases and things and these emotions are stuck inside of your cells, and there's no way in hell you're going to get rid of them by changing your mindset or going to a hypnotist or even going to a chiropractor or naturopath or an osteopath. There's no way. They can't clear that. They can clear your energy or whatever, but they can't actually take it out of your cells, right? And yeah, and that's one of the things that I can do, right? I have a client. She says, she was she was doing some research, and I totally let you get, I totally approve of that. The more you learn about your own health and your own body, it's great, right? And you guys join me, and we always talk about that. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, right? And then they kind of get me my insight. And when they asked or tell me these things, my intuition pops in and I get all these messages, right? So I'm like, oh, well, this is that, and this is why. And, so my intuition is extremely strong. I know, Lynn, when you probably never ever thought I'd be like this, did you? And it's because of Lynn that I'm where I am today. Like, she's the one who told me that I was extremely intuitive and psychic. So yeah, so it's pretty amazing how far I've come. And and if I can do this, guys, you can do this. Some my clients, now that they've released a lot of this trauma and all of this loss and fears and anxieties that they've had, their intuition is expanding and growing. So I did do a lot of work, yeah, and it's been an amazing journey, and I'm not done yet. So again, book those calls, okay? Put hashtag call in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'll put the link in the group so that you can book it. And, just book it by Friday so you can get the extra year's bonus with me, okay? And, or even double. Yeah, we'll go double bonus, right? So whether you join for partial year or the whole year, right? It'll be a double. So book those calls for Friday, okay? And I want everyone to have a very Merry Christmas. And don't worry, if you start getting anxious or, depressed, or reach out to a neighbor who's alone. Even just take an extra plate of food and take it over to them, right? Or if your anxiety starts getting really bad, do your thymus thump, okay? This is the time of year where people do get sick, right? There's food poisoning and all this stuff, right? And yeah, So do the thymus thump and get that immune system boosted up. Okay. So have a great night. I will see you guys all in the new year. Okay. So we'll be back on January 3rd. Okay. So have an amazing holiday, and I'll see you guys all next year, and book those calls. Okay.